20 to 4 here on TAB Radio. Wednesday Drive with Seb Clark and Marty Young. The Perth Wildcats are in action in just under an hour's time. We were very excited to see the new recruit, the import, David Duke Jr. And he's spoken to the media a couple of days ago. Here's what he had to say about what he was bringing to the team.
No.
Oh, nothing there. We don't have anything. We'll get that shortly. But he's been announced in the last 5 hours that he won't be playing tonight, won't be in this game against the Jack Jumpers. So much like his audio, we won't see him out there. We say good afternoon to Chris Pike to preview this game. G'day, Pikey.
Yeah, hello guys, and yeah, very unfortunate news I think, because I think this would have been a handy game for him to be introduced in, but no, I assume the flying that he's done to get from the US to Perth and then to get from Perth to Tasmania has taken it out of him a little bit, so he must not have too much left in the tank.
So it was interesting that they'd come out yesterday in the media and their social media announcement that he was going to play this game, and then this morning they come out with the load management being the issue that he won't be out there tonight. So is that them going a little bit too early?
I think it's just as simple as he's woken up in Hobart this morning, not feeling too great and still trying to adjust to the jet lag, and he's only had one sort of half-hearted training session with the group so far. So I assume it's a combination of him not feeling great with the jet lag and also really just not being ready to play with the team, not really understanding what would be asked of him out there anyway. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, and probably in hindsight, he probably shouldn't have even jumped on the plane to Hobart. Ideally, he probably could have avoided that and headed to Melbourne for Sunday. But, no, I think we will see him on Sunday, but, yeah, we won't see him tonight, unfortunately. And with no Dylan Wingler either, it's going to be a tough one for the Wildcats.
And the market suggests the same as well. We'll touch a little bit more about David Duke because I want to learn a little bit more about him with you. Let's just listen to him from Monday speaking to the press.
Yeah, my biggest strength for sure is my defense. I think that at the guard position, being a bigger guard, being able to cause havoc on that end, and then playing in transition is also one of my strengths as well. So I think just a bit of those two are the main two things that I will be able to bring to this team.
Just listening to David Duke there, Pikey, bigger guard. What's his size?
Yeah, he's probably not bigger than Mason Jones. And, I mean, it's admirable that he comes out saying he wants to play defence, but that also scares me because that's not what the Wildcats need. No. I mean the defence hasn't been the problem at all. The defence has been the only reason they've been a chance to win games so far this season. They need two things from him. They need him to be a ball handler and to run the offence, and they need him to be able to knock down the open three-point shot. And unfortunately, he didn't really talk about either of those things. So, until we see him play, it's impossible to tell. But on paper, there's nothing about him to suggest he's an upgrade on Mason Jones, unfortunately. So if you compare what they both did in the G League last season, where Mason was the MVP and he dominated and ended up winning a championship and was the championship series MVP as well. But David Duke's numbers didn't stand out where he's at the Austin Spurs, which is the San Antonio affiliate. He only had 17 points a game. And the concern for me is only 3.5 assists and then only shooting the three at 31%. So if he comes into the Wildcats and only ends up averaging 3.5 assists and he shoots the three at 31%, then he's not really giving them what they need. So he needs to somehow be a pass-first point guard and then also knock down the three-point shot at a higher clip than that, because nobody else can make a shot right now. If you look back to Saturday night against the Hawks, and they were 1 of 17 at halftime, they only finished at 5 of 32, and they are the worst three-point shooting team in the NBL right now at 26%. So, yeah, hopefully he's got a bit more offer than what he's talked about there, even though it is nice to hear somebody want to play defence, but that's almost a given, I feel.
Could do with a Bryce Cotton time, going to say, from the three-point range with the numbers that you've just...
Well, the other funny thing about that is he went to the same college as Bryce, so They both went to Providence College, so he comes in now trying to replace Bryce, and they also went to the same school, which is a nice little tidbit.
Sounds like the Wildcats will struggle tonight against the Jack Jumpers, is what you're saying then, Pikey?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I mean, the Jack Jumpers are really hard to beat. I mean, they never say die, but they also give you a chance. So I think it'll be a close game. I think the Wildcats will still be a chance, but I think the front court of the Jack Jumpers will be where they get on top. I think Will Magnay has been outstanding as captain this year, and he's been able to stay on the court a bit longer than some of the other bigs, and And Josh Bannon coming in from Brisbane over the last couple of years, he's been a revelation. He's probably the best Australian foreman in the league right now. I think he clearly outplayed Xavier Cooks back on Sunday. So I think that makes things difficult for the Wildcats, especially if Joe Luala-Chul can't stay out of foul trouble, where that's an area I think the Jack Jumpers can really take advantage. And it's just I don't know if the Wildcats can score enough points with the way they've been shooting the basketball right now. I mean, Elijah Pepper, Ben Henschel, in theory are good three-point shooters, but against the Hawks they combined for 2 of 14 between them. And Christian Doolittle, for me, just hasn't been aggressive enough offensively either. He needs to be demanding the ball and demanding to make plays, especially without Windler out there. But, yeah, he's almost happy to play back seat right now. So, yeah, I think it'll be close. The Jack Jumpers aren't the type of team that puts you away, but I certainly wouldn't be willing to bet against them tonight.
It was an extraordinary run of 3 games that we witnessed from Saturday night and the 2 Sunday games. 3 matches, all 1-pointers.
It's incredible. The entire season up until then had been pretty much full of blowouts. I think the average margin across the season had been more than 15 points a game, and we've been really struggling to get close games. And then all of a sudden, we get that 1-point win for the Hawks here on Saturday night, and then we get to Sunday, and I think Melbourne and Adelaide play out the best game of the season, where Tyson Walker ends up hitting the game winner for Melbourne. And then, we closed the round on Sunday where the Jack Jumpers just won the unwinnable game when the Sydney Kings completely blew it, and they came from 16 points down in the fourth quarter and won that game for a point. So, yeah, 3 straight 1-point results. Let's hope we see more of it tonight. I do think it'll be a single-figure margin, at least tonight.
Okay, are we taking the Jack Jumpers head-to-head, or do you think the line is something you can lean into at 4.5?
At 4.5, we can take the line. I can't see the Jack Jumpers losing, but I also can't see them winning by double figures. But 4.5 is a nice number. Okay,
so Jack Jumpers to cover that 4.5. This game tomorrow afternoon, 4:30 p.m. The Bullets taking on the Taipans. The Bullets $1.44. 2 struggling teams here. That line at 5.5.
Yeah, they are struggling. The Taipans especially. So they're the worst-rated offensive team and defensive team across the competition, which isn't great. They've had 5 losses across the season. They've only lost 7 games. 5 of them have been by 27 points or more. It looks like they're still without Jack McVeigh with his hand injury. Still don't have Sam Wardenberg. So at home, the Bullets haven't been overly impressive either, but they've got Casey Prather, which the Taipans will struggle with. They've got a new import to unveil as well, so they've got Dakota Matias, who will come in and make his debut as well. And from all reports, history shows he's a 40% three-point shooter, and they have been struggling with their three-point shooting as well. So he'll give them a little bit of shooting that they need. So I see the Bullets probably winning this one quite comfortably. So whatever the line is for that, I think the Bullets will cover it.
5.5.
And can we go forward to Friday? Yeah. Because the Illawarra Hawks at home $1.52, Breakers a $2.55 line there at 4.5.
Yeah, the Breakers are another team that I've got real concerns about. They blew a game last week when they were leading at home against the Bullets by 24 points, and they lost. And then they've been really struggling. So they have another import that's under real pressure. I'm not sure we'll see Rob Baker for too much longer this season. He's struggling to have an impact. And the Hawks, they'll get some confidence after that win in Perth. I think there's a chance that we'll see Dave O'Hickey as well on Friday night for the first time this season. And they've got a new import that's not too far away either. So QJ Peterson looks like the man that the Hawks are going to bring in. And he's coming off a season in China where he put up some massive numbers as a guard. So him alongside Tyler Harvey and Dave O'Hickey in that backcourt will be pretty exciting. So, again, I'm going to stick with the line here. I think the Hawks win this one at home pretty comfortably. So, yeah, whatever the line is, let's go with
4.5. 4.5 there, so we can multi that up. Jack Jumpers at 4.5, Bullets 5.5, the Hawks 4.5 for $6.90 for Pikey's multi this week. Any thoughts on the NBA at the moment? Geez, Wembanyama, he's sort of taken the P155.
He's playing like we all, I guess, imagined him playing if everything all came together for him. An absolutely unstoppable beast with the ball in his hands, because he can shoot from the outside. And gee, if he takes one step inside the key or the 3-point line, he's basically at the rim, and he doesn't even need to jump to dunk the basketball over anybody. And then defensively, he's making big plays, and he's got the Spurs all of a sudden a good team as well. So they've had a good start, 4-0, and
first time since 2017, I think, for the Spurs.
Yeah, yep, I think so. So I mean, we saw how bad they became when he was out of the lineup last year, but. Gee, you can't match up on him because he has the game of a guard. But you can't put a guard on him because he's probably 2 foot taller than most guards, and he's big enough at 7 foot. Gee, whatever he is now, I think he's kept growing. I think he's 7'4", I think now. So he can, if you put a big on him, he can just walk around you or dunk over you. So
crazy stuff,
completely unstoppable. Yeah, crazy stuff. So yeah, he's got the Spurs looking pretty good. Some good games today as well. So I mean, I thought Giannis Antetokounmpo had the Bucks looking pretty good against the Knicks. Unfortunately, Marty. He was great, and
he plays well against the Knicks.
he does. But so yeah, I mean, they had a good win. The Warriors looked good against the Clippers as well. So they're
4-1. They've got away to a good start. The Warriors.
Yeah, no, they've been impressive, and they've probably got a lot of improvement to go. That chemistry between Steph and Jimmy and Draymond Green is still growing, and they're getting good contributions across the board. And defensively, they were great. I mean, they hold the Clippers to 79 points, and that's a team with Harden and Leonard and Chris Paul coming off the bench. So yeah, the Warriors have started well, but hard to say anything but OKC look to be the team to beat again. So far. They haven't lost, haven't looked like losing, and even if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's not getting too many foul calls, only 2 foul shots today in their win against the Sacramento Kings. Wow. But even despite that, they still got the job done, and they're still undefeated. So I've actually enjoyed the start of the season. I think we've seen some pretty good basketball, and take the little betting scandal out of it, and I think it's been a pretty good first week and a bit.
Has there been any progression around that betting scandal? What's the latest?
No, not really. I think we'll have. I mean, Chauncey Billups, the Portland coach, he'll just have to wait to now go to court for that. And his wasn't really related to basketball, but still not a great look. And then I don't think we'll see Terry Rozier playing for the Miami Heat probably ever again, based on the fact that it does look like he's actually involved a little bit
directly.
of match fixing. So
there was some footage of a game that he played, and he obviously there was something going on.
Yeah, well, he
couldn't have played any worse.
He left a game early before the 7-minute mark, and there's a market where you could leave.
Yeah, but there was another game.
Really, he's tossing the ball away.
Well, he's just terrible.
Right,
I saw those same highlights. I mean, he was jacking up air balls, throwing the ball out of bounds, dribbling the ball off his foot deliberately, and quite clearly something was going on. So I think he's in a fair bit of trouble, and I wouldn't imagine we ever see him on a NBA floor again. But what happens with Chauncey will be interesting. So, I mean, obviously, if he goes to jail, we won't see him coaching in the NBA again. But if he somehow doesn't if he only ends up getting a fine for it or doesn't have to go to jail, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him back coaching, just because it didn't directly involve basketball. What he's involved in, it was mostly with poker. But we'll wait and see. He's certainly not coaching right now, and you probably don't want him involved with your team, to be honest.
Exactly.
If you've got that hanging over his head. But
a lot more forgiving over there in the US, it seems. But we'll wait and see on that side of things. Pike, always good to catch up with you and talk basketball. All the best this afternoon, and I guess go the Wildcats.
No, very, very good, guys. Good to chat again. And, that game gets underway pretty soon, so look forward to it.